Hello, welcome to Tip Tuesday. My name is Walter Noason. I'm the Life Sciences Product Manager for IndySoft. Prior to IndySoft, I was the Metrology Department Manager for Medtronic for 21 years. Our Tip Tuesday today will be how to build a Part 11 compliant CAL certificate. Life science companies need to follow 21 CFR Part 11 to manage electronic records and electronic signatures. Electronic signatures have 4 elements. You have your name, you have the date, you have the time of the signature, and number 4, you have the meaning of the signature. The meaning element is often overlooked by life science companies. The meaning element of electronic signature, for example, could be performed by, reviewed by, approved, etc. Part 11 requires electronic signatures to be part of the electronic record. That we know. But is another often overlooked aspect of the FDA Part 11 requirement is that the electronic signature 4 elements often need to show up on any printed electronic record that you'll submit to the FDA. So therefore, not only do the 4 signature elements need to be displayed within the software as an electronic record, it also needs to be part of a printed record. And that's hence our Tip Tuesday today. We have 2 parts. We will go over the workflow configuration module to set up Part 11 signatures in electronic records or events. And then the main aspect is we'll go over PrintBuilder to build a Part 11 compliant calibration certificate. So let's go to the workflow configuration manager. What we would do in Workflow Configuration Manager is clone a calibration event and make it a Part 11 calibration event, which I have developed. Okay, so I cloned a calibration event, and the reason why I did that is I want to make a Part 11 calibration event because if I go to the sign-off rules, what I would do is set up special sign-offs to mirror a FDA Part 11 compliant electronic record with the 4 signature elements. In this case, we're going to have multiple sign-offs, which is typical in a life science company. We would have the performed by signature of the person performing the calibration, typically the calibration technician. And then we'd add a second sign-off, a review sign-off, and you can call it multiple names. This reason field is also the meaning element, matches the meaning element of the Part 11 requirement. In this case, I've got performed by as the reason for the technician sign-off, and I have a QA approval sign-off for the review aspect of a life science expectation. So that's how we set it up within the workflow configuration as a precursor to the certificate where we'll build. And we'll close out of that. Now we'll go to the equipment view. The other important step that you have to do before going to PrintBuilder, because as we build in PrintBuilder, there's a feature within PrintBuilder that allows you to preview your work. And part of that preview is to have it connected to a data element within the database. And so this is how you would do it. You go to your equipment view, go to your history tab, and highlight an event that you'd like to show in the preview to see how you're building your certificate. In this case, I explained to you that we built a Part 11 calibration event, building in those sign-offs. And if you highlight that a Part 11 calibration event in the historical records, and you do put the mouse over it and right-click, you'll see a lot more choices that you can do. But the one I want to key in on is use event with designing in PrintBuilder. So click on that. And now when you go to PrintBuilder, when you do the preview mode, it will preview this event. So you can kind of see how you're doing in the build. All right. So we've done the workflow configuration with the sign-offs. We've done the preview mapping of the event to PrintBuilder. Now we'll go to PrintBuilder. So we'll go back to the home page. Find PrintBuilder in our left-hand menu, and we'll launch it. Now, once you're in PrintBuilder and you want to make a compliant CAL certificate, What you would do is take the Cal certificate, and I'm going to open up the standard cert, and you can see in the design mode what it would look like. Just a standard certificate calibration, nothing fancy. If we go to the preview mode from design mode, we'll see what it looks like. So no signatures on here as of yet. I'm going to close out of this. And now what I want to do is make a copy of the standard cert and give it a new name. And I will do that by creating a new template. And I'm going to give it a new name, Part 11 Test. And I'm cloning from Standard 1. I'm glad I checked that. It defaulted to Standard, and I modified Standard a little bit in preparation for this Tip Tuesday. So now we're going to clone from Standard 1. And I'm just going to put a standard note here. All right, see, now we have Part 11 Test. And that's what we're going to modify. So let's bring that in. And we're in design mode as a default. I'm going to make the screen just a little bit larger so we can pay attention to it. Now, because we have multiple signatures sharing the same fields, one of the things you would know if you are somewhat familiar with PrintBuilder is the best way to show multiple field usage within an event is to do the grouping feature. And I know from past experience that if I look at what I have on here right now in my bands and my tabs at the bottom, that the event procedure lends itself well to what I want to do by adding the 4 signature elements from the event data flow. And so, yeah, so that's the one we're going to use. So if I go back to the main one there, is I'm going to highlight event procedure and I want to copy it. So I'm going to go up to, I believe it's edit. I'm going to copy and then I'm going to paste. Okay, it pasted it right over it. You can't see it, but I know it did because it kind of flashed a little bit. So I'm going to put my mouse on it and I'm going to move it down. So now we've copied it. Okay, the next important step to do, and this is an important step that can be forgotten, and that is because what I have used is an event procedure, the data mapping, if I go to the left, the data pipeline is event procedure. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. So I know that I want to use this now as my sign-off data flow. So I'm going to go to pull down and check sign-offs. So now I've got the sign-off pipeline here. And that's what you need to have to be able to do your design element on the right now. If I go to my data tree on the right, I'm going to go to sign-offs. And it will show me the fields I can bring over into my screen when I'm in the sign-off tab here. Okay, so first of all, we got to clean this up. And I'm going to clean it up by removing these fields, which I don't want because they were the procedure fields. So I'm going to get rid of those. Just delete them. This is a title, and I'm just going to change the title. And you can give it whatever title you want. In this case, I just made it very specific that it's the FDA 21 CFR Part 11 sign-off signatures, which we're going to bring into 4 elements that we talked about, which is the expectation from the FDA on any printed record, and that's what we're doing here. If I go to preview mode real quick, you'll start seeing that we're building it. Okay, so it's coming along pretty good. So we're going to come over here again and over to the right and pick my sign off and come down here and look at all my fields that are available. And the first one I would want to use is the name. So we'll bring that over, and it has 2 parts to it, 2 fields to it. We have the group header, or the column header, if you will. And I'm going to bring that up here. And we don't have to get too fancy with it. And I'm going to bring the next one over here, and I'm going to make that a little bit smaller because they're using a lot of real estate here. Just kind of line it up underneath. Give myself a little bit more room to see what's going on. Just a little bit more room. And if I go to a preview mode, just to see how, it's kind of a nice way to check to see how things are going. And we're building it pretty good. You can see now we're building multiple sign-offs from the event that we cloned or are using. We go back over here And find sign-offs again. Not sure why that disappeared, but it did. Come back down here. Now the next thing, remember, if you remember the 4 elements we talked about, name, date, time, meaning. So now let's go to date. And we're going to pick the date and bring it over. You push the mouse button down, bring it over to an area that you can use as your working area. Break apart those 2 elements. Line it up there. Line it up. Make this one a little bit smaller. Okay. If I wanted to check my preview mode, yeah, we can see it starting to build pretty good here. Okay. Now we're going to bring in time. Sign off time. Highlight it. Hold the mouse button down. Drag it to a work area. Doesn't have to be anywhere special. We know we're going to rearrange it. Uncheck it. Check it again so you can break apart the 2 fields. Bring up sign off. Kind of helps you with your aligning. Oops. And I missed that. Bring this one over and minimize it a little bit. We're not going to do the preview. We know how that works. Now, so I've got 3 elements. Name, date, time. I'm going to bring the 4th one over, which is meaning, but IndySoft calls it reason, the reason name, same thing. And we'll bring that over. Okay, we're going to bring that up. And I'm going to call that, rename it to meaning, sign off, down to over. Okay, so we have brought over the 4 FDA 21 CFR Part 11 signature requirements or expectations. And because we have multiple certs, we have a performed by and a reviewed by, the group banding helps with that. And we just cloned an event procedure tab because it was very similar to what we wanted to do with our sign-offs, right? It lends itself very well to that. So it's a nice save. We'll kind of move that down. Now let's see what that looks like in our preview mode. And now you have it. You have the FDA 21 CFR Part 11 sign-off signatures. You got the 2 signatures, a performed by and a QA approval sign-off in your certificate design. So now I'm going to save it, hit the OK button, and we'll have that saved now in PrintBuilder as a Part 11 test, and then map it to within your workflow configuration as a cert that you want to review. I have done that. And so now if I go to Equipment History Record and perform a Part 11 calibration event, which I did, if you go into the cert bucket and see how that would look, then here is how the certificate would look. And here we have the Part 11 compliant signature elements, which is the meaning, the name, the sign-off date, and sign-off time. I just kind of reversed the order here, put the meaning first, and put the name, date. You can rearrange it any way you'd like. There's no particular expectation to how that should look. But so now we have done that. So this is the completion of the Tip Tuesday for today, where we showed you how to very quickly modify a standard calibration certificate within IndySoft to make it a more compliant Part 11 electronic record, electronic signature connection, where the expectation from the FDA is that a printed record should also display the 4 signature elements of name, date, time, and meaning of the signature, as well as what it looks like within the software. So thank you for attending and reviewing the Tip Tuesday, and we'll see you down the road. Thank you.